Hi.
Greetings. We're in the chapter Governing Body, in the section where Ray Franz is detailing the reality of the period when the governing body has already been brought in. The way it was working, though, during all the years he's in Bethel is plainly the same way it had worked all the time that Nathan Knorr had been president. So at this point, nearly 30 years, Nathan Knorr has been president, and basically it's Fred Franz and Nathan Knorr been making all the decisions, certainly about writing and what goes into the magazines and who writes the books. Fred Franz is in charge of that. Nathan Knorr is just rubber stamping most of the time.
So it's not real. The governing body isn't governing anything. Okay. It's from here.
Yeah, they're not even being consulted, as he shows here.
All right. It was during Knorr's presidency that the term governing body began to be used with a measure of frequency. The literature now began to tie such a body in with the board of directors of the Watchtower Society. In the Society's book, Qualified to be Ministers, published in 1955, page 381, the statement appears. During the years since the Lord came to his temple, the visible governing body has been closely identified with the board of directors of this corporation. Thus, the 7 members of the board of directors were considered to be the 7 members of the governing body. The fact is, however, that this situation was much as it had been the case with the directors in Russell's and Rutherford's day.
Marley Cole, a witness who wrote a book with the full cooperation of the Society, entitled Jehovah's Witnesses, the New World Society, points this out. In a section headed Internal Rebellion, he first describes the controversy in 1917 between Rutherford and the board, saying, quote, 4 directors wanted a reorganization. As things stood, the president was the administration. He was not consulting them. He was letting them know what he was doing only after it was done. He was putting them in the position of advisors on legal corporate matters. Rutherford made no bones about going ahead. The pastor, that is capital P pastor, that's Russell, the pastor before him, had worked that way. The pastor made decisions. The pastor issued administrative orders without the board's prior sanction. Then, in a footnote, Cole states, quote, that the president of the society thereafter continued to exercise such unrestricted freedom may be seen by the following account of N.H. Knorr's actions in relation to bringing forth a new Bible translation.
The Watchtower of September 15, 1950, pages 315 and 316, is then quoted. It reveals that the directors of the board were first informed by the president of the existence of the New World Translation, probably one of the biggest projects ever engaged in by the organization, only after the translation of the Greek scripture portion had already been completed and was ready for printing. Right up until 1971, when the tail wagging the dog talk was given, the board of directors did not meet on any regular schedule, but only as the president decided to convene them. Sometimes months went by without any meeting. The most frequent agenda evidently being such corporate matters as the purchase of property or of new equipment. As a rule, they had nothing to say about what scriptural material would be published, nor was their approval sought. Vice President Franz made this clear when testifying before the court in Scotland in 1954 in a case known as the Walsh case.
Yeah, that court case was, I believe, about conscientious objection, but I'll have to check that again. Question as to what was done if some major change in doctrine was made and whether such had to be first approved by the board of directors. The vice president replied, and this material here is being reprinted from the official court transcript with Q representing the question of the counselor and A the response given by Franz. So the transcript goes like this. Q, that is the questioner. In matters spiritual, has each member of the board of directors an equally valid voice? Answer. The president is the mouthpiece. He pronounces the speeches that show advancement of the understanding of the scriptures. Then he may appoint other members of the headquarters temporarily to give other speeches that set forth any part of the Bible upon which further light has been thrown. Question. Tell me, are these advances, as you put it, voted upon by the directors? Answer. No. Question. How do they become pronouncements? Answer. They go through the editorial committee, and I give it my okay after scriptural examination. Then I pass them on to President Knorr, and President Knorr has the final okay. Question. Does it not go before the board of directors at all? Answer. No. So you see that this is at least consistent from the days of Russell through Rutherford, right through most of Knorr's reign. The three monarchs have the final say. Yes, they do delegate some authority, and certainly Franz had the headship when it comes to material printed,
But
and
it's
especially
one
the
mind
difficult books.
behind at any given time.
Yeah,
What's written.
the mind of the administrator is clearly Knorr.
Yeah.
He's the practical man, but the head, the only head doing thinking, theological thinking, and any kind of deep research, the only scholar that could even be called a scholar is Franz. And of course, he can't be called a scholar by seminaries, by the standards of Christendom. He can only be called a scholar because you have no others. And it's very plain, as was one of the brothers in the other book, In Search of Christian Freedom, or at the back of this one actually, refers to Franz in those later years as the oracle. Well, that's pretty scary, because you realize oracle relates to revelation. And he has been our oracle for, well, decades at this point, right?
Yeah.
Even during Rutherford's era, it is thought that he ghost wrote several of Rutherford's publications. And one more paragraph here. I personally knew that presentation of matters to be true as regards the board of directors. Before 1971, I was in a meeting with several writing staff members called by Karl Adams, and the question arose as to how to get the president's approval of certain proposed improvements in the Watchtower magazine. Someone suggested that Lyman Swingle, who was present as one of the writers, broached the matter to Knorr. Swingle's reply was brief, but spoke volumes as to the reality of the situation. He said, "Why me? What can I do? I'm only a director." We've got a link here. I can't quite read it. What is it, Franz and the New World Translation?
I
think it is.
Oh yeah, Franz and the New World Translation and the basic JW playlist.
Yeah, the basic JW Library playlist, as well as Franz's relationship to the New World Translation.
Yeah. Okay.
See you soon.